In a bold and historic move, the United Nations has announced plans to relocate the global headquarters of three major agencies, UNICEF, UN Women, and UNFPA, from New York to Nairobi by sometime in 2026. This marks a strategic watershed in the UN's effort to decentralize its operations and align its presence more closely with the communities it serves. But before exploring the details of this relocation, it's worth looking back at earlier conversations about moving UN headquarters away from New York. On July 31st, 2025, it was reported that UN will relocate the global offices of UNICEF, UN Women, and UNFPA to Nairobi by 2026. These agencies will join UN Environment Programme and UN Habitat, already headquartered there. The shift is part of the UN 80 reform agenda, aimed at decentralizing from costly duty stations like New York and Geneva, improving efficiency and regional relevance. Nairobi's strategic importance is underscored by its existing infrastructure and role as a logistical and financial hub in East Africa. The city already hosts 86 UN offices, 73 at the Gigiri complex, and employs approximately 6,500 UN staff members and their families. The UN plans to invest around $340 million to expand facilities in Gigiri, including constructing a 9,000-seat assembly hall and 30 conference rooms on par with those in New York and Geneva. This relocation will make Nairobi one of only 4 global cities, alongside New York, Geneva, and Vienna, to host multiple UN headquarters. It signals the UN's intention to bring decision-making closer to where its work is needed, particularly in the global south. The move is expected to reduce bureaucracy, operating costs, and carbon footprint while enhancing impact and accessibility. The shift builds on a prior structural change. UNFPA began relocating roughly 1/4 of its New York-based staff to Nairobi in early 2025. This phased move, including closure of 2 key divisions in New York, elicited strong reactions. Staff cited concerns over reduced policy influence at UN headquarters, lack of consultation, and Kenya's stance on women's and LGBTQ+ rights. Morale was described as very low. Nonetheless, UNFPA leadership emphasized that New York would retain its headquarters for global engagement with member states, and Nairobi would support closer proximity to regional and national offices. Although this new relocation affects specific agencies, there have been past ideas to move the entire United Nations headquarters from New York. When the UN was originally founded in 1945 to 46, dozens of US cities, including San Francisco, Boston, Chicago, Philadelphia, and others, competed to host the permanent headquarters. Even Geneva was proposed, being the former seat of the League of Nations. After extensive debate, New York was ultimately selected in 1946, largely due to John D. Rockefeller Jr.'s offers of a generous land donation along the East River and robust political and financial support. In later years, alternative proposals surfaced. For instance, temporary relocation during the major renovation of the UN complex in the mid-2000s. But these fell through, and all such plans remained speculative rather than realized. This relocation differs from previous debates in that it is not about the headquarters of the entire organization, but targeted moves for specific agencies. Nonetheless, it signals a paradigm shift in how the UN views its global footprint. Nairobi is being recognized not just as a regional office, but as a legitimate high-capacity global hub, especially endowed with high development urgency, demographic growth, and strategic investment. As Nairobi prepares to welcome 3 major UN agencies by 2026, the decision reflects both an organizational and symbolic transformation. The move heralds a more decentralized, agile, and context-sensitive United Nations, one that operates closer to the populations it serves and shares governance with regions beyond the traditional Western epicenters. Time will tell whether Nairobi's elevation reshapes the future of global diplomacy, but the path forward is unmistakably bold and forward-leaning.